TG Tutorials.
I'm reliable. Hey guys, it's Matt here, bringing you another episode of TG Tutorials. On this episode, I'm going to teach you how to record Super Nintendo footage using your Roxio Game Capture HD Pro. So, first of all, let's show you exactly what you need.
The first thing you'll need is your Super Nintendo, which I hope is kind of self-explanatory. Now, I can't give you an exact price on this item because it does fluctuate, but be prepared to pay under $100 and over $20. You'll also need AV cables as well. Now, the next item you need, I actually can give you an exact price on that, and that is the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro. Again, because you're recording Super Nintendo footage through the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro, I would hope you'd know that you do need this item. This is an item that you can get new in box for around $100. And you'll also need a mini AV to HDMI, as well as an HDMI cable and a mini USB cable. And the AV to HDMI cable is actually pretty cheap, it's around $10.
And now that you know what you need, including this little device right here, let's show you exactly how to do it.
The first thing you'll need to do is take the mini AV to HDMI, turn it around onto this side, and plug in the AV or the composite cables, as they're also known as, into these three slots right here. After that, turn the device around and you'll also see that there is an HDMI out over on this side of the device, which you will need to plug an HDMI into as well. Once you're done with that, turn the device over and also flip it over as well, and you'll see that there's a mini USB cord right there, which you'll need to plug into there to actually plug into your computer. There's no software involved, it's really just needed to power on the device. Also, there's a PAL and NTSC switch over here. I have mine switched over to NTSC, so I cannot personally confirm if PAL works. The next thing you'll need to do is take your Roxio and the HDMI cable that is coming out of your AV to HDMI, plug that into the input side of the Roxio, turn the Roxio around, and then have another HDMI coming out of that side of the Roxio going into your television. Also, you might notice this rather odd white port to the left. What you're going to have to do is take a USB cable that was bundled with your Roxio Game Capture HD Pro, plug it in there, and then plug the other side into your computer. After installing the software on your computer that came with your Roxio Game Capture HD Pro, click on this icon right here that says Roxio Game Capture HD Pro. Once you've done that, you should notice this screen pop up, and then this window as well. You can go to Capture or Edit and Share. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, we're not going to edit and share. That is actually the Roxio Game Capture's own internal video editing software. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't use it myself, but you could if you'd like to. However, for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to click on Capture. And if you set up everything correctly, you're going to notice there's a preview right here of the game that you're currently trying to record. Although remember, for all of you live streamers or general people just recording footage and you're trying to play through the footage, not just kind of record it and have it on loop, you actually might want to or at least try to be good at the game. Remember that this preview is delayed. So if you need this preview, I would suggest that if you need to use this preview to play, I would suggest looking at whatever other screen you're using to record the footage and refer to that if you're recording it while actually playing it, not just leaving it running in the background. So if you're unfamiliar with Roxio, I want to mention that if you don't see this here, so if you don't see this preview here, you might have component, not HDMI. Also, if you turned off the system while having it plugged in, for some odd reason, because of the conversion process with the AV to HDMI, it might not read it immediately. So go back to component and then back to HDMI, and that should help you out. So if you're unfamiliar with Roxio, I'm going to go over it a little bit very quickly for you guys. So over here it says quality. Quality can differ depending on how far up you put it, but at the same time, I don't think it differs that much. However, the strain on your computer does make it so that if you put it at the highest tier, so you slide it all the way up to the this end right here, you might notice that there are some issues when trying to record it, and especially with playback, it is devastating to try to record something for, you know, an hour, 2, 3 hours, and then to have it all of a sudden have issues during playback only because you put it up to its highest quality. So I've never noticed that big of an issue with quality, even though I have it all the way down here, which is actually less than half. Because usually when you start software for the first time, it'll start at the halfway point. So scrolling down here, you can actually change where it saves to and the prefix, i.e. the name of the specific file. I don't really care to change the name of the file. I usually have them in certain folders anyway, but if you're, you know, trying to do different things, maybe do different glitches or something interesting like that, you might want to differentiate what file is which. Also, you can go down here to live stream. When you click on live stream, the interesting thing that I didn't know earlier on when I was doing earlier episodes episodes of TG Tutorials, I didn't realize that Justin.tv has actually turned into Twitch. So Justin.tv is now Twitch, so you can actually log in and live stream through the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro via your Twitch account. So for any of you guys that have Twitch, we have a Twitch as well that we do not use as much as we should, also because my computers are terrible when it comes to live streaming, but if I ever wanted to live stream through the Roxio Game Capture HD Pro, I could using our Twitch account. Now let's look at some of these buttons here and see why they matter. This is mute preview audio. This matters a lot if you're live streaming because you might end up having two versions of audio coming in at once depending on how it's working. So I would suggest muting the preview audio, especially by the way for some of you live streamers or even just some people recording stuff for YouTube, YouTube Live or YouTube Gaming, and you don't want your content being flagged in some way or another. So it's always easier to add in sound in post-production than it is trying to remove it while it's just kind of embedded into your audio. So I would suggest muting it, and because it's only muting the preview audio, not the actual audio that's recording. So you can come over here and actually mute the audio that's recording. So if you mute this over here, this is a just recording audio, then you're actually shutting down the audio itself. But the preview audio is just coming right here. So I've had times where I've been trying to record and I'm actually had the computer's volume on and it's been playing volume as the television is playing volume, which has been very trippy. You can notice here that it says full screen. I really don't use full screen. I think it's a little bit of stress on my computer, so I tend not to do that. And also there's grab snapshot here. There's no way to pause the video to grab the snapshot though, so personally I just wait until I use my personal either video editing software of choice or your different kind of media player to just create a snapshot if I need to. You can go over here and it says show info, which of course shows time elapsed, your file size, record time left, and your space left on drive. For record time left, I don't really notice a big difference because like it says, 5 hours and 55 minutes and 47 seconds. I don't really notice that mattering so much as so the space I have left on drive versus the file created. I've noticed depending on what you're recording, usually 20 minutes could equal about maybe 1.2 gigs or closer to 2 gigs. It really depends on what you're recording. If it's PS4 footage or compared to something like PS2 footage, then your file size may vary. So going down here, we have start capture, of course, which allows you to start the capture. You can also go over here to enhance picture. I personally don't mess with these settings unless I'm playing a certain kind of game on a live stream that gets very dark. I do notice that sometimes, occasionally, Roxio does have the colors can look a little weird on Roxio, which is why I usually use my video editing software to kind of change the colors. That's just what I do personally. And going over here, you can use brightness, hue, contrast, saturation. You can do that, but let's look at brightness right here and see how it affects it in the video itself, turning it all the way up. So it actually does a weird kind of Game Boy backlight to it. So personally, I'd rather just not mess with those at all. Click reset. And if I want to mess with the lighting at all, with the colors at all, I just do that, in post, because it's a lot easier to tailor that to my liking rather than trying to fix this. Because, trying to fix this, you can't fix it if it's already messed up. At least that's how I look at it. You can also set capture length right here. I personally don't want to do that in case, there's any errors or something like that. I personally just don't touch that at all. You can also go to File here. You can exit, which is very easy to do. You can also just click the red X up on the upper right-hand corner. You can go to Tools and Options, and then that allows you to mess with some settings even more. So you can even customize things even more. You can change the profile from 480 to HD 720 or HD 1080p. Again, see how your computer is affected by doing that. You can also go to hotkeys. I personally don't utilize these myself. It's a lot easier to click Start Capture. However, if you're dealing with a touch screen or a touchpad and you're a bit nervous about double clicking, which has happened to me before, I've lost some footage that way, maybe clicking F6 might help you a little bit better. And then here you can change your live stream settings, which I don't really live stream to this, but if I did, then you can change your video preset, your audio device, and other interesting things over here. So we're done with this part of the tutorial, so let's jump back to me in front of the shelf.
Alright guys, that about wraps up this episode of TG Tutorials. Thank you all so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and if you didn't like the video, then you know what I'm gonna say, And if you're new, you don't know what I'm gonna say, then I'm gonna say, even if you didn't like the video, you can subscribe and like the video and the channel anyway. Thank you all so much, love you guys, take care. Please pick up some of our merch over at our main website, dgproduction.net/merchandise. See, I changed that little part up there at the end. So, thank you all so much. Love you guys. Take care and see ya.